Linux Office Suite. Welcome to Fairly Basic Tech, and in this episode we're going to go over the top 6 alternatives to Microsoft Office that we can use in the Linux environment. When a lot of people come over to Linux, one of the first things that they need to do is something with an Office application, and we found out real quick that Microsoft Office isn't exactly an option. Or is it? So that brings us to number 1, Microsoft Office Online. Anyone with a Microsoft account can go to www.office.com, log in with your Microsoft credentials, and you have web-based versions of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and all that fun stuff. It's not as powerful as the desktop versions, and the big catch is you can't really download the files easily. You can share a link to other people to view it online, but that's about it. It does function very, very well. It does do anything that most people want Office to do. It does it within the web browser. It's not as pretty. It's not quite as useful. You can't download the files and send them via email, but you can store them on your cloud through Microsoft OneDrive and share links to have other people view them. It's not great, but it is, of course, 100% compatible with any Office documents that you may be using. So that's definitely something to consider here. Microsoft Word. Number 2, Google Docs. Likewise, everybody has access to Google Docs through their Google account. So docs.google.com, log in. In this video, I'm going to be showing screenshots mostly from your Word counterpoint. So here's what Google Docs looks like. It looks awful similar to Microsoft Word. It doesn't have quite as many options, but you can do most anything that you expect a word processing software to do. And this one you can download in various formats. It's very, very useful. You can actually download as a PDF, which is really useful when you're sending out resumes or doing whatever you need to do to send out documents that you don't want other people to be able to edit. So those are your web-based applications that are available on any computer with an internet connection, Linux, Apple, Windows, whatever. That's available. Those are completely agnostic to the operating system you're using. But what if we want to use something that's designed to run within Linux? Let's take a look at the most popular one these days, and that is LibreOffice. This is LibreOffice Writer, and you can make some tweaks to the appearance to get it to look how you want it to. One thing I would recommend is going up to the View menu and turning on the tabbed user interface. That will give you this view where you have your file, home, insert, layout, the ribbon type interface that's been in Microsoft Office for quite a long time now. I am certainly more accustomed to using the ribbon than the menus these days, so if it's an option, I like to turn that on and have all of my options here in these little buttons. So LibreOffice has that now. It's not on by default. It is very usable once you turn it on. If you don't like that, you can turn it off. You can bring up your menu bar right there, and you go to View, User Interface. A standard toolbar is this. So it has your regular menu and your favorite buttons. These are the defaults. You can add more to that, customize it how you like it. And yeah, LibreOffice is very, very popular. It is highly compatible with other suites. It doesn't save in Microsoft Word format by default, but you can save as a docx file down here. By default, it's going to save as an open text document. So you may find if you're opening something that was created in Microsoft Office, the formatting's a little off. Likewise, if you open up something in Microsoft Office that you saved here, if you're doing some serious formatting, it might look just a little off. So that's something to keep in mind with all of these suites. LibreOffice is certainly capable, certainly powerful, certainly something that you want to consider. Number 4, OpenOffice. This is OpenOffice Writer. This is very similar to all the rest of them. I don't believe there's an option for tabbed layout within OpenOffice just yet. So you got your standard buttons and your standard menus. OpenOffice has been around a very long time. It is awfully similar to LibreOffice these days. Same pluses, same minuses, basically. It can save as a docx. It doesn't do that by default, and you may run into some compatibility issues with Microsoft Office documents. Something to keep in mind, but as far as creating documents, it is a very powerful word processor, and the other tools within the suites, your Excel and PowerPoint alternatives, work very well in OpenOffice and in LibreOffice. So that's definitely an option for you. So, number 5, WPS Office. This is WPS Writer. And if you look here, you see it has your ribbon by default. I can't say I've used WPS really. I downloaded it to take a look for this video. It looks pretty darn cool. Let's see, if we go to Save As, it's saving in docx by default. Save as a Microsoft Word document. It looks like it is very much designed to look like Microsoft Word. It's got a format painter and everything. This is actually looking very nice. So again, this is something to consider. WPS Office has alternatives to Excel and PowerPoint as well. So definitely would be one to download, play around with, consider as your go-to Office suite. There you go. So that brings us to the last one in our list, and that is ONLYOFFICE. And it looks like this. So look, if we go to Office, you see Libre, OpenOffice, and WPS all have these multiple applications that you can use. ONLYOFFICE only has this one application. It's called Desktop Editors. And that's kind of weird. But when you open it up, it asks you what kind of file you want to create. Whether you open up a document, a spreadsheet, or a presentation, it just opens up as a tab within Desktop Editors, which is just kind of handy, actually, if you're using multiple types of documents at one time, to have them all here together. You can see it has a ribbon by default. It claims to be completely compatible with Microsoft Office. I haven't tested that, but it sure looks like Microsoft Word, and I would suspect that it will open Word documents and save documents openable in Word as good as, if not better than, the other alternatives. All right, so let's review real quick. We had Microsoft Office Online. We have Google Docs Online. We have WPS Office. We have LibreOffice. We have OpenOffice. and we have ONLYOFFICE. So that's really quite a lot of options there. Those aren't the only ones that are available. Those are just the most developed, most major releases that you'll find on Linux. Some of those will come by default in a distribution you may download, but if you don't like the one that came with your distribution, you can download one of the others and play around with it. So, I hope that's been informative. I hope that tells you what you need to know. Let me know what you think down below, and thanks for visiting me here on Fairly Basic Tech.